listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome. It's so nice to have you here. Hopefully this is not the first show that you've seen and you're coming back because you like what you saw before. That's what we're all about, bringing content that is relevant, informative, and entertaining. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. Yay! I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. And of course, with me today, as always, my friend and co-host, Aminah. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. I gotta go this way.
We've been practicing. Hello.
Gotta get in camera.
How are you today?
I am great. It's California. It's 80 degrees. It's sunny. We're doing wonderful.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. It's always nice to see you. And thanks. How are all the animals?
They're great because it's sunny and there's plenty of food out there that is not man-made. And, if we keep the smog down and everybody keeps not driving, they're even happier.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think I shared with you before that I hardly ever drive. Like, seriously, maybe once a week.
Right. We actually had to get gas yesterday. And we hadn't got a gas in so long, we almost ran out getting to the gas station. It was like, oh, we might need the gas because food is required to buy once in a while.
It's so true. I have purchased gas since December twice. That is it. Yes. So that shows you. But it's really good for the environment. And I was sharing with somebody earlier that since I met you, I'm sort of more hyper vigilant about what I'm doing and how it impacts the environment because, as you mentioned before, everything's connected.
Absolutely. That gum wrapper that you just can't seem to get in your pocket or take home with you. And that the example is because this wrapper is like this big, maybe all wadded up. And you don't realize it goes in the water and a fish eats it and chokes to death, or a bird thinks it's food and they choke to death, or, it's just, there's one tragedy after another by that simple act of just, well, why should I bother? It'll biodegrade. No, it won't, especially cigarettes. I'm not sure why the communities and the governments really haven't cut down on cigarettes. I realize it's a big money maker, but they're highly toxic and they don't biodegrade. I don't care what you make out of them. They might have originally been tobacco, but there's so many chemicals and preservatives in them that they really, really talk to any city worker and the drains and the parks and just everywhere. It's just a huge problem. It's a huge problem.
Well, you bring up a good point. And, it's interesting where I am. It's, I'm on an island and I'm not around cigarette smoke at all. And last week when I finally went out, I was next to somebody who was smoking. I was like, I don't want to say offended, but it's kind of like a shock to your system because you're not used to breathing that in.
Right. And it is offensive to the system, to your nose. So the word is appropriately used. I know you don't mean it, emotionally and that kind of stuff, but it is to your senses because you're like, oh, this is poison. And the body's going, oh, yeah, this is bad. Right. That's how we know to run when, there's danger. That's how you know when to stop, hopefully, running when there's danger. And, when the earth shakes, move, because somewhere the earth is not shaking. We have earthquakes all the time. And I know when I went to the Middle East a few years ago, I got asked all the time, weren't those terrible? Well, you kind of get used to them because they're happening all the time. Now, when I was in Iran, they had a horrible earthquake. The difference in the death toll, though, was their homes are brick. And they don't have the trees like we have in California to make them in wood. So there's far more deaths. So you have to look at your environment and participate in not being a part of the problem.
I just was thinking as you were talking, there's been a horrible event in Florida. I don't know if you saw it, but the whole side of this building just collapsed.
And there's so many people they still haven't found.
And when you think about it, what I read was that the firefighters and other people were assisting, that they had to go in through the basement that was flooded, and then there was a small fire in there, and just really, really scary. So,
well, in the news today, as you said, I saw before we got on the air, is how is this possible? How do you have an entire apartment complex and it collapses? No earthquake, no fire, none of the other earth man-made or otherwise reactions. They've got a lot of work to figure out. Can you imagine just sitting at home? And most people are still home. So the death toll was, going to be a little bit more catastrophic because it's all terrible. And it's heartbreaking, really heartbreaking.
Did they have any ideas as to what might have been the cause?
Not yet. Not yet. That was the conversation today that I got to read was everybody's like, wait a minute, building codes. How do you just lose a whole building one day when there's no precursor? There was no, hurricane, no tornado.
Right.
Nobody had dynamite that they know. So there's a lot of work to be done by the investigators.
Yeah, it's really tragic. So our prayers are there for anybody who's living there or has family members, friends. Aminah, I'm going to spotlight you and ask you to share with everybody your backgrounds and all the wonderful things you're doing in the world today.
Gosh, I hope so. Pet psychic is a great, fun term to come off with, but there's so much more that I am personally. I'm a public speaker on communication. So when I talk to you about your pets, I'm really going to talk to you about how do you communicate. A dog is going to communicate different than a cat and a horse and a goat and a snake, and you want to talk beetles, that's a whole other conversation. But everybody communicates. Every person, myself, my children, will communicate differently. We might be from the same family, but we do communicate differently. So I want to really help everybody learn about listening, communicate with each other. What I am lucky enough is to be a translator for the animal. I want to teach you body language. I want to teach you language. What does that bark mean? And again, just like people, somebody can, in some cultures, yelling and screaming is just the way they communicate every day. And in some communities, they whisper or they're very, very soft spoken. And that is not indicative of angry, happy, sad, mad, glad. So these are the things you have to know about cultures, and animals are exactly the same way. So I'm helping with that conversation, helping you adopt and keep those pets and have an amazing experience, even the struggles. The struggles are actually probably more beneficial because you worked hard on that relationship.
Very good. One thing I think that we as humans maybe take for granted is that, there's still people out there thinking that animals are not communicating, or you can't communicate with them, or you can't communicate with plants or anything. And that's really kind of egotistical, wouldn't you say?
I love that word. Yes, I love that you use that word because we are living in a time where more than ever, it's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, with my family or not, or whatever. What can I get out of it? Where can I go? And there is a wonderful set of people out there also who are saying, what can I give? Where can I go to give? And what I encourage you, and what you're going to hear today with my guest Corky, is reaching out to those people that put you in that place and move you forward. And we really, really encourage you to have that positivity, because if you want joy in your life, you actually have to give joy. And everybody might say, well, how do I find it? Well, find out what you truly are passionate about. If it's science, if it's plants, for me, if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to go outside and go for a walk. I love just taking a deep breath wherever I am. And I did that in New York City. Not a lot of trees there. Had to go to a park to go and find the trees. But you know what? You find joy where you are. And you are in this wonderful studio all day long, but you've surrounded yourself, I bet, with things that make you comfortable, a chair, a footstool. I know I have a footstool that keeps my feeties happy while I'm here. So our posture is good and we don't have the headaches. find your joy, whatever that is. If you're a movie buff, great. Buy the most wonderful chair that doesn't kill your back, and be a great critic or whatever. But find your joy, and then guess what? It's easy to share it. It's easy to move forward and give that to others.
Yes, I love that. And my joy is obviously what I'm doing, but when I start to get a little overwhelmed, which does happen, I go behind the green screen. I've got my little trampoline there from Amazon, and I just jump away and all the stress goes.
Exactly. And for those that have dogs, any size, pretty much, just you take them for a walk. For me, I go grab a cat and snuggle up with the cat. One of my cats likes to sit on my head on the easy chair, and I'm like, I have my own muff. And because that's what she likes, so I can reach up and pet her anytime. But she knows she has to be squished at least 5 times a day just to get that. And that's what we've decided is okay. She'll tolerate that as long as I put her down and and that kind of stuff, because that's not her thing. So you have to respect everybody. I have to respect you, because it's who my soul is. And even if I met you on the street and I bumped into you, hey, sorry, excuse me, even if it was the other person's fault, what does it matter whose fault it is? And we're too caught up some days with, well, it's your fault, it's my fault. Well, guess what? How about if we just all be courteous and say, nobody's fault, just sorry it happened. Are you all right? Check in. Because,
Yes.
that little bit of love could save somebody from a really bad day. And you don't own that. So just put joy out and you'll get joy back.
Joy, joy, joy to the world. I love it. What do you say we take a commercial break and then we bring your guest on?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I just want to share that this week I am running a music video from an phenomenal musician, artist from the UK. His name is Tony Moore, and he has put out his own version of a very famous song called Route 66. So it's going to be released on July 2nd, but you're getting to see it here first. So let's take a look, and then we'll be right back with Aminah and her guest.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello and welcome back. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, presents Pet Psychic, and so much more. Aminah, how'd you feel about that music from Tony Moore?
Oh, I loved it. And ironically, I have driven Route 66 many times as a child. My parents took it. It was very famous. It is still very, very famous. So it's a wonderful trip if you can take it.
Did you see the little dog?
Yeah.
And I saw our guest backstage bebopping around. So
Yep.
I will ask you to introduce your guest.
Well, Corky Whitacre is an amazing woman, and I'm going to get her job title because I keep reassigning her gifts. And you know how something sticks in your mind, and it's left, and you go, no, stupid. Every time you get here, it's right.
Yes,
So
we all do that.
I'm not going to even say it because I'll get it tripped up. She is a hypnotherapist. And I am very, very fortunate to have been a client of hers, but also have seen her work with other people, and specifically somebody in my own family that has really, really benefited from her services. And besides, she is like the right, left hand, foot, elbow, and all body parts of CCL, which is the Center for Creative Living. So no further ado, Corky, please, I hope you are joining us.
Hi.
Did I get it right? I got the name, I got the serial number. Provided you have an entire different profession.
Well, thank you so much. And I enjoy being here with you, and I'm anytime I can be with you, I'm happy.
Thanks.
I'm happy. So,
And I saw you enjoying the music back there, Corky.
oh yeah. I was thinking about all the Route 66 places
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been to all the places in the West. Not so much. I don't even know. I've done some hypnosis in Oklahoma after the Oklahoma bombing, but it's hard to say that I've been there because I flew in, did the work, and flew out. So it's but it's I would love to do it again. I love to travel.
Yeah. If I had
Sounds
that,
like there's-
I think all three of us would be, if we could count every time we've been through an airport that went through that town, we could really chalk up some miles.
There you go.
Yes.
There's a couple of those airports I didn't leave.
Right.
I just stayed in the airport. But when I stopped over once, I don't even remember where, I was there for like 4 hours. And because I was on a U.S. passport, I was coming from Saudi Arabia and come back to the U.S. I was like, man, I'm going. I'm going to go see a tour bus. I think I did the nod and die, and fell asleep on the tour bus the whole way. It was so tragic. It was like Ireland. I don't know. It was somewhere. And I was like, oh, I'll never get back here. And I never have. But I think I slept through the whole tour.
Yeah, I did that too when I was in England, but I was videotaping it, and so you'd see the camera would go.
And this is the editing part. Have fun.
Unrelated to
Your fabulous life.
Unrelated to traveling, I have this memory of I was in graduate school and I decided to sit in the first row because my vision was starting to go then. And the next thing I know, I literally heard my head hitting the desk, and I looked around. And I was like, "What was that? What was that?" Everyone,
Who hit me and who do I hit?
exactly.
Yeah, when I fall asleep in class, I usually go to the side. Yeah,
Safer. Definitely safer. But Corky, I was wondering, for people who don't know, because we can't assume everyone knows everything, right? But if you could describe what hypnosis is.
Okay, hypnosis. Well, my elevator talk is anything that you want to start, anything you want to stop doing, hypnosis can help. In other words, it gets in touch with your subconscious mind. Now, your conscious mind is the one that keeps your body, your heart beating and your blood flowing and all that kind of stuff. Again, it does the automatic breathing and that. And so that's an important part. But it also is the one that believes that when your mother told you were stupid, or anytime that you have been told that you're better, that you're worse than, just that there's no hope for you or whatever, or that you're stupid, or that you're not, you're fat, or you're ugly, or you're whatever, that goes into your subconscious mind, and it believes that. And so, kids are hypnotized in the sense that they run around in their subconscious mind a lot. They're kind of in a trance state because they're just moving through life. And when you're in that state, you're very easily, your subconscious mind takes what it says. If you were to tell your subconscious mind that you could run a mile in 5 minutes, it would believe it, and it would do everything create a situation in you so that you would work toward that goal and want to make that happen. And your subconscious mind would be going in there with you so that you're psychologically and physically it pumps you up to reach that goal. But if you're told that you're fat and you're ugly, that you're stupid or whatever, it hears that too. And I find my job is to dehypnotize people and to help them realize their how wonderful they are, and to open up their ability to use God's gifts that everyone has. If you're depressed, depression isn't a problem. I mean, it's an emotion, right? And so you can't. It's normal to be depressed or sad about things, but just don't pitch a tent there. You've got to say, okay, I'm gonna be depressed for today, and then the next day the birds are chirping and whatever's going on, and say, I love this planet, and I want to be part of it. Does that Did that answer your question?
Yes, that definitely answered my question. And something, because I've not been hypnotized, but I've thought about it, and I'm wondering just another aspect: how much of the successful outcome is related to the trust between the client and the hypnotherapist? Is it hypnotherapist?
I think that's important because now, first of all, about being hypnotized, you're hypnotized all the time. Anytime that you're reading a book, and you feel like you're part of the action, then you're hypnotized in that. When you're doing the dishes, when you're running, when you're thinking about something else, and not really conscious about, you're driving along and you know where you're going, so you're not really thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, they stop, and you're like brought back. During that time, you're hypnotized. You're in that alpha state, and it's really an excellent state to be in because your body is your blood pressure is lower and your heart is beating slower, and you don't wear your body out as fast when you're in alpha state. So it's not good being in that type A personality 24/7 because you wear your body out quicker. Okay, so the point is that you're hypnotized all the time, and we just don't even know it. And so it's what do you say to yourself? What do you hear? What you're working you're in a cubicle and you're working on a spreadsheet or something, and you hear somebody talking about going to the Burger King, or that they're hungry, or that they whatever it is, and that gets into your subconscious mind, and the next thing you know, it's like, gosh, I'm hungry. I think I'm going to go have a hamburger. And you think you thought that, but actually, your subconscious mind picked it up from your environment. And so sometimes we have beliefs that we don't even know where they came from. If you really investigate what you think and how you feel, I think it's a good exercise every decade or whatever to think about. What do I believe? Do I still believe that? And do I still believe in abortion or not abortion, or the death penalty or not the death penalty, or when people treat you like this, how you should respond to that, and how you're going to feel about people and situations, and how you're going to react to that. And so being hypnotized is a very, very common thing. Your brain goes into alpha, into the alpha. Your body just does that, goes into alpha, and that's the hypnotic state. Okay, and what was the other part of the question? Trust the hypnotherapist. I think so. I usually have a free, first session is free, so that my client, so the person and I can talk and see what the report for the are we going to have a rapport? Are we going to be able to work together? Are they going to? Because when you're hypnotized, you can feel very vulnerable. You don't feel. You're letting your body relax, you're letting your mind relax, and somebody's going to go into your subconscious mind and tinker around in there. And I want to trust that person that's going to take my innermost workings and do what with it, And so if I weren't a kind, gentle person, you might think, well, maybe they're going to make me, because I've had people ask that, am I going to bark like a dog? And it's like, only if you want to, but it's, but you're not going to rob a bank. I'm not going to control you. I don't want to control you. That's not how it's going to go. You can spontaneously come out of hypnosis. If the hypnotherapist were to ask you to do something that's outside of your moral conduct, you would just spontaneously not combust. You would just spontaneously wake up, and you won't do something that's not part of your core values.
So is it like what you see on different movies or TV shows, like watching a pendulum, you're getting very sleepy, or getting sleepy, your eyes are closing?
No. Yes, I mean, that can be a technique. But as a matter of fact, I've had a client go, "Don't you have a here, watch this." But, now you can do the watch my finger kind of thing, But basically, I use like a guided not a meditation, but a guided induction. And so, your body's relaxing. You're walking down a long hallway. You're feeling very relaxed. Just allow yourself to be part of the environment. You're now, just feel yourself relaxing, going deeper and deeper into total relaxation, going deeper down the steps, 10, 9, 8, like that. And then you're relaxed.
Aminah and I are now
Be
asleep.
careful. You just want everybody else to sleep, and then tell the audience and everybody to wake up now.
And you'll be alert for the rest of the day. Yeah.
It's amazing what she's done, because for privacy, I'm not going to divulge who it is, but I know somebody who's had it, and they've had a lifetime of fear of needles and pens and all that kind of stuff. And it's a growth thing all the time, but they're an adult now, and really needed to get some medical care. We went into a science museum months and months after Corky worked with her, and we saw cadavers sliced in half, and I'm all about the science, and it was fascinating, but even for me, it was a little much. And she just did fine. And usually it's run to the other room and run away. So I think, and Corky, my question to you is, what kind of preparation do you need to do to truly have this be successful? I know you need to be open-minded, but do you need to do something else? Eat better, get exercise, come rested, showered? I mean, you know what I mean? The whole body ready for the experience. I mean, what would you recommend?
Well, I've had people, because I do depossession work too. That's part of one of the services I offer, and I've had people come to me that were scared. They were just frightened to death. There's something inside of them that's telling them, don't go. That person is going to, or that, they just don't know what's going to happen. And so my feeling is that you come with an open mind, come feeling that you can get better, that this can be resolved, that the issue is not that you're not going to. I'm going to say that you weren't going to die, but everybody dies, so that's not the truth. Because I want to say the truth, because otherwise your subconscious mind would go, well, that's not true, because you have to. But what I want the client to be is open-minded, and tell me the truth of how you feel, so we can work on the truth, of what you're feeling, your situation is, and so we can work on it.
Absolutely. And they don't need to be fixed coming. They can do it in stages. And I like that you didn't do any kind of pressure or any time of angst and all that type of stuff. You just, I was going into a procedure and asked Corky to help me, and just to relax, because it was so important that they were working on my spine, and I really needed that to relax, because having that tension doesn't allow any kind of medical treatment to work as well. So I know for me that was really important. And she has such a soothing voice, and it's not boring and just meant to put you to sleep. It feels inclusive. It feels like she's looking at your heart and your desires and saying, let's work on this together. I didn't feel alone in the room and just being talked at. And so I really appreciate that, Corky.
And the dental work.
Thank you.
And the dental work.
Yeah, and with Dottie, well, that's right. No exposure. No.
No names.
She somebody I know had their teeth pulled, and I hypnotized her, and consequently the dentist too. And so he told me Clouds. He said, "Is Clouds here today?" Oh, okay, I'm here. Okay, and he had, on several occasions, like, it really helped being relaxed. And then another person was having a surgical where they do that. Was it Bows or whatever it is, where you have a little bit of cancer on your face or something? And Mohs, yeah. And the whole, so the doctor and the assistant, as I was hypnotizing this person, they said, "Oh, I was right there on that beach with you," because they had a lamp, and so you're on the beach in Hawaii, and your favorite beach, and you just feel yourself relaxing, and you can feel the sun, and it's just, it was everybody was relaxing. It's like they like it when you bring your own hypnotherapist.
Best drug ever. They're legal and everything.
Yeah, and
I love it.
And
I
it's what we always talk about is having positive energy, because what you're bringing is the education and the voice to give all of us that clarity of just bringing that positive energy. When you expect doom, don't be surprised when it finds you. Eventually,
It's
it's
gonna show
going to
up.
find you.
Going to show up.
You know, everything is energy. When you're sending out that energy, then it, of course, it's going to be drawn to us, because it's like if you're happy, you're drawn to happy people, and sad people are very well drawn to you also, because they want to be happy. But it's energy. Just think of everything as energy, and so as you speak, as you just live, you're exuding out energy.
Absolutely.
And it's it's like the pebble, in the water, and that
Ripple effect.
Yes. Absolutely.
We need to take our break for hearing from one of our sponsors, and we're going to hear from Listening to Smile. And I think we'll be relaxed when we watch this. So between Corky and this, I hope I come back. All right, here we go. Listening to yes, Listening to Smile. Here we go.
The music, services, and programs that we offer at Listening to Smile are based off of scientific studies and research, along with our own personal experiences and testimonials from our clients and our affiliates that we work with worldwide. My own personal journey began in around 2010, and I tried to find relief from a chronic illness that I was diagnosed with. And the traditional ways of healing, they tried to fit me in this box, and that didn't work for me for so many reasons. And this led me to a self-discovery that I never expected to be so life-changing. Healing is multifaceted. It requires us to really look at our whole selves and to get really honest about what we see. I started to see movement towards recovery when I started to integrate yoga into my life daily. When I started to incorporate the music into all aspects of my life, including my yoga practice, my healing completely accelerated, and Listening to Smile's music helped me to open my consciousness. I was able to open my eyes to new perspectives and make changes that I needed to make in order to recover. The most noticeable difference that I saw right away, like immediately after listening to my first frequency track, was how much my anxiety stopped, completely stopped. There was such a relief. My mind was actually quiet for the first time in so many years. I felt safe. I felt this comfort and this peace immediately. I continued to listen daily, and I found that amazing things were happening inside of me. I felt calmer, I felt happier. I felt like I was in this little bubble of peace. Physically, I started to see the changes happening. I started to see the things happening in my body that needed to happen for me to heal from my illness. I felt empowered, I felt hopeful, and something that I hadn't felt in years. This is why we at Listening to Smile integrate yoga and Listening to Smile music together. We see such a huge benefit from integrating the music into other modalities of healing. It accelerates these modalities, it steps them up to another level because it works on the brainwave states and the neural pathways in the brain. This is something that is not very easy for us to do alone at home, but the Listening to Smile music makes that possible. This is where real change happens. This is where the body and the mind sync up and work towards health of the being as a whole. That is true health, and Listening to Smile frequency music will get you there.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Well, we're still awake. We made it back. You're watching. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn.
Weren't you so calm?
Isn't it calm? Yes, very nice. With pet psychic Aminah, who's a lot more than just a pet psychic, and Corky Whitacre. Corky was telling us all about hypnosis and maybe some of the misnomers that people might have about it, and also the values the incredible value people can get from working with a hypnotherapist.
Yes.
So,
Yes. I'm sorry.
what did you want to say? Go ahead.
Oh, it just that it's, at the very least you'll be relaxed. And that's very good for your body to slow down, and and you can. I usually put people in a cloud, as a thing to where they can go back themselves and rejuvenate and to just relax, so that they have that as a resource anytime. And I like to teach people how to do self-hypnosis. I kind of want to let my clients go, and so after 3 or 4 times, I'm ready to let them go and that it's either working or it's not working. I mean, there's thousands of hypnotherapists, and I'm in no way do I think that I'm the only one or that I'm the one for you in particular. So it's I'm very willing to let you go find somebody that'll help you. That's the point, is that you get help. And so that's what I want for my clients, for them to resolve their issues.
Corky, how did you get started on this journey?
I was an alcoholic, and I used it as a way to overcome my demons.
Oh, thank you so much for being transparent and sharing that. That's obviously a great tool that people who have addictions could possibly incorporate into their recovery. Yep.
I knew that I was the one that was responsible for it, and so I had to do something that would speak to my subconscious mind and deal with whatever the demons were, that were up there that made me feel inadequate, or whatever it was that I needed to get out of there, so I could be a happy, joyful, contributing person and a pillar in, well, not a pillar, but anyway, live in a civil servant. No, not that either. Anyway,
A contributing member of society.
Thank you.
I know you're going for a low bar here, so let's just go, that way. But Corky, how did you know when I worked in a place where we treated people who had addictions and that type of stuff. So how do you know to reach for help when somebody needs a therapist, or somebody needs a therapist of any kind, or a doctor or whatever? How do they know to reach out? How do you can tell your story, or how do you?
With the Ebert, the earthbound entity releasement technique, when I do the work with spirits and stuff, earthbound spirits, I put that in my manual, where I say, ask yourself, do you want to stop this? And if you hear that voice that says, no, you're fine, you can drink, you can use, you can, it's you. When you hear that thing in your head saying that, oh, you're fine, and you're not, you've gotten to the point where you're not, when you don't want to drink and you do anyway, and there's a point where you say, man, my life isn't going right, and I'm the one that's responsible for that, and but yet you have that inner voice that tells you that, so you got to get rid of that inner voice. You've got to be able to deal. So I've created a process where I work with people on that. Get rid of that inner voice telling you that, and it isn't that you're bad. It's just that you need to change and be the best person you can be. And it's all in there. It really is all in there.
Well, and what you said is so powerful for me personally, just because my go-to is I'm fine. And as Corky knows, I deal with a lot of chronic pain. And so I usually, now, my daughter comes to appointments with me, and I always say, the doctor says, "So how you doing?" And I say, "I'm fine." And so it's like, okay, there's the door, but I didn't, what you don't know is you don't know you're saying that, because you always say, "Oh, I'm fine and I'm good." And because that's what I'd like to manifest. That's like, for me in my head, I was coming across inappropriate for the person who actually needs to know that I'm not fine. Yeah. So that's what Corky really, also helped me with, is just saying, no, it's okay not to be fine, and tell people what you really need. It doesn't make you less of a person. So that's really powerful if you really look at the depth of, you're not fine and you got to change it up here. And it's been a really hard road for me because I've been saying it for so long.
Yeah. See, so you've done that self-hypnosis, and that, you're continuing, and in continuing to do it, then you're reinforcing that behavior.
Exactly. It gets easier. It really, really does. I'm surprised in the 3 months I've really been at it, it's easier to not say I'm fine and not feel bad about not being fine.
It's just turning that around, so that instead of telling that, not truth, but the desire that you want, the outcome that you want. I mean, and that's okay, but not when you're talking to the doctor. Not when you're talking to
exactly
who's supposed to be. How can you help them help you if you lie to them? Well, I know you don't.
Or if you believe you're fine, why are you there?
Right. And I always.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I always feel like the word "fine" is kind of like a safe word, because there's no information in that. I don't know what that means when you say you're fine. I'm just saying in general, people, because. Exactly. And I think on the other side is, you want to convey positive energy even when you are in pain. But if someone said, "How are you really doing?" Like for me, when I have a flare up, "I'm really not doing well. I'm running to the bathroom 50 times a day. You want to hear about it?" No, I actually don't. Okay, I'm fine.
So then I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and in AA they have an acronym for that I can't say over the radio. So
we'll just say they have an acronym for that.
You can't say on television, so you could write it if you want to write it. Just hold it up. No, I'm kidding.
We have flashcards of inappropriateness.
Wait, let me get my banner. This may contain mature content. Hold on, folks. Look, this broadcast may contain some mature content. All right, go ahead, Corky. You can say it now.
Okay, so it's screwed up. We'll just say the F word for screwed up. Insecure, neurotic, and what's the E? Not eccentric.
Egotistical?
No, whatever. And not doing well. That's
I don't think that starts with an E.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm dyslexic. What the hell?
Okay, we'll just say it backwards.
Yeah. It's like back in the day when they said, "Fake it till you make it." That's what I was raised on.
Yes.
And, it works a little bit. Yeah.
Well, Corky, a question I have that came up when you were sharing that you'll work with a client maybe 3 or 4 times, and then, it's working or it's not working. So does that mean that the technique that you use will, if you have a good relationship with the person, you've got, camaraderie, then, and there's trust, that their situation could be corrected, or at least on the way to being changed? I shouldn't say corrected, but transformed.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then you're given tools as to how to continue this yourself. I teach them self-hypnosis. I teach them how to change their self-talk. Teach them how to it's like you have them make a list of the things that they want, and some people, it's so easy for them to tell you what they don't want. No, what I want is what you do want. And they go, yeah, well, I don't want, the people at work treat me badly, and I don't want to have to deal with that. Okay, so what is it you want instead? I just don't want people to treat me like that. I mean, they can't even. They're so entrenched in their speech patterns that they can't even think. They can't even think that that way, that what is the positive thing? The positive thing is that I don't want anybody bothering me. No. So it's sometimes it's quite a struggle to inform people that their thinking is bringing in negative energy to them, that they're really hurting themselves. That, I mean, I have people that say, oh, that I hate my ex. And well, by hating that person, you're creating an energy that keeps them in your mind. And so what you want to do is if you really do dislike this person and never want to think of them again, never think of them again. And how do you do that? And then we go through that process, because the worst thing you can do to anybody is never think of them again. Then they're dead. They're dead to you. They're gone. They no longer exist, and they can't get to you. And so hating somebody is just like smearing them all over you. It's something that's sticky and you can't get away from it. So what you want to do is release them and let them go, and in peace, and take that negative charge. Dottie's spirit guide says that, if you are angry and you put your hand on like the table, and like you're mad, that the energy from that anger will stay there more than if you do a love, if you say, hey, I love you and I'm really, so I said, well, how do you get rid of it? And he says, you have to say, I love you 10 times to erase the hate, which is kind of an interesting thought, that because it's dense. Hatred and fear, and they're very dense emotions. They're sticky, and they hang around, and so you have to, it does take some work. It takes a lot of love work, peace, and being gentle, and being enlightened work to take the fear away and the hatred. So, light workers, hey, there's still a lot of work to do.
Lots of work to do.
Always more work to do if you're the kind of person who wants to grow and learn, right? It's
Right.
It's how we live our lives.
And it's all in there. I mean, it's all, everybody's got it. So it's just uncovering it and letting that lighter part of you come out.
Yeah, I think we have another energy worker with us today too. Is buzzing in and out.
Just the good words are accentuated. Just the good words. So, Corky,
Yes.
if somebody would like to make an appointment with you, as far as I know, you can do this from anywhere to anywhere, and there's no barriers on location. So, tell us how to get in touch with you.
You can email me at hypnosisbycorky@gmail.com. It's going under there, or call me on the phone 408-220-5779. And I'll talk to you, and we'll discuss what kind of things that we could, a treatment pattern for you, a treatment session plan, for you, and see what would work. Maybe sometimes just talking to somebody and helps them, seems to help them quite a bit.
That's why your first session is free.
Yeah, the first session's free, so that we can talk, kind of get clarity into what it is you want to do. Is it, how are you feeling, and where, just general, hi, how are you, what's going on, let's talk. And so it's I don't think that, I don't want to charge people for that part of it, because some people just, some people say that that's all they need, and but that was the free session. Although I'm glad you're better.
Don't we have that as coaches when you have the kid free session, and it's supposed to be 20 minutes and now you're into an hour, and then it's like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah. Oh, you don't need any. No, I feel better now. Okay, good.
Yes.
I still have to work on those boundaries of keeping it to the 20 or 30. I have a hard time doing that.
Oh, my boundaries are like shot.
Boundaries? What are those? We'll get a dictionary for you there. Thank you so much, Corky, for coming. What you do is so amazing and so valuable. It's so important that people know there's so many resources out there.
Yeah, and one of the things that that helps me to do my work is that I listen to source, and when I do the training for the depossession work, and people, how do you know what to say? And it's like, I don't. I just open up the source, and it just comes to me. So it's it's all God and source and energy, and just be kind to each other.
Yes.
Just be kind to each other, and you don't have to be right. My saying, I'd rather be happy than right, and I live that way. I don't have to be right. I don't care if I'm right. I just want everybody to live in peace and harmony.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
One person at a time.
Yep.
And I'll take care of all the kitties and puppies and bumblebees and all that type of stuff. So right now, the big push for me is just getting everybody aware of 4th of July. We're coming up to 4th of July, and it's deadly for pets. Yeah. So we lose more pets to running away and getting killed or whatever. And so, yeah, be careful out there, everybody. Keep your pets indoors exclusively. If indoors means a garage, that's fine. Just keep them indoors. We lose more pets on the night of 4th of July.
Is it because of the fireworks or the noise? Yeah. I can't stand the noise myself. Oh.
Well, and I used to live in a neighborhood that they did fireworks all year long, and not one fireman came and sighted them. Our whole 5 blocks, and we had fireworks for every nationality of every holiday on every, and it was just nonstop. And we were in a flight path for the airport.
Oh boy!
Yeah, imagine that's a great mix. But people don't realize it's really hard on people who are have emotional issues. It's hard on pets. It's and the fire department. I would just dread 4th of July and anything that does with selling it. So, anyways, I just wanted to get that in there. Please put your pets away. Keep them in with you, and keep the horses in the barn, goats off the fields. It's safer. It'll be less.
It's a very good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know people say to me, hey, you want to go down to the beach and watch the fireworks? No, absolutely not. I have no interest whatsoever in subjecting myself to that noise. I don't know with stuff that's falling. I don't know. Please. I'm not interested.
Yeah. I just wish we could do it another way, in some other different way to celebrate. So.
Yes. Well, very good tips. Thank you so much. Thank you, Corky. It was so good seeing you, and hello to Dottie.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. What you do is so incredible.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words.
Truth hurts, I
know.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Corky.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was a great interview, great guest. She's got a lot of really good information that is helpful to people, especially if they're not aware of the benefits of hypnotherapy.
Which I wasn't. I never had anything to do with it until Corky was a friend, and then, saw what she talked about and went to a couple of her lectures and that type of stuff. And then I went, because I'm always of the mind, I can't do that. I got 900 conversations going on around here, and that's only when they're all mine. I've been asked, do you read minds? Oh, no, thank God I don't have that, because I'm blocking you otherwise, because that's just, there's not enough.
You don't want to know that.
Bandwidth to listen to all you nuts. But I do get distracted by the puppies on a regular basis, because I'll be walking with family and they're like, what are you doing? Oh, there's a dog back there on the patio, said hi. I'm just talking to him. And we're 6 blocks later, and they're like, of course you were.
Well, I think that's great. It's excellent.
Animals don't argue. They're very loving. They really want that care and love. Some are terrified, and some of that work is just a joy to do, because it's a lot of work with fear animals, because they are the most risky to bite. So, luckily people don't necessarily bite you, but they might get a gun and shoot you.
Oh, they find other ways.
Yeah, exactly. They find other tragic ways. So it's just getting past that, what we just talked about, that image of what people's experience is, to say, wait a minute, but why do you feel that this is the first go-to? Why do you feel hypnosis? Because I can't be hypnotized. Well, and I thought that before I worked with Corky, and we really did a lot of talk therapy with the hypnosis so I could get to that point. So she's just really, really great. And there's so many professionals out there that we just scratched the surface with. So
well, and it's nice to have
putting a spotlight on that.
Of course, and it's nice to hear a personal story of, you've worked with her. So that's always great for our audience. And thank you for sharing that. What is the best way to reach you, Aminah? BridgieWorlds.us. Everything is there. My schedules, my costs, how to email me and get an appointment. Once in a while, I can do pretty immediate appointments. It just depends on my schedule. But I want to be there and support your pet and animal experience. And we don't need to be in the same country, the same city, the same town. My gift works because I have, as an empath, I can feel the distance. I can hear the conversation. My connection is you. My connection is you. Awesome. Thank you so much. It's always good to see you, and I hope that you have a beautiful weekend.
You too. You look fabulous as always. I'm really liking the blouse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great week. Don't work too hard.
All right, Aminah. Thanks, you too, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I just love what I do because I get to meet such amazing people who are helping people all over the world. And I think that's one great thing about what we've all been through. It's almost like we're all in this together, and people helping each other across the world. There seem to be so much less in terms of barriers that are preventing us from getting to know one another and getting to help one another. So I'm very grateful for that. Thank you to Aminah and to Corky. We have 2 shows left, and we'll be wrapping up the week. And I don't know if it's 16, 17, or 18 shows this week. I've lost count. But I really appreciate your loyalty and being here. And we just love hearing from you. So I am hearing from a number of you that are contacting me on social media as well as emails. And I know that you are really enjoying our programming. What I'm going to be doing, I started this last week, is I will post on social media all the topics that were discussed on our shows. And I think when people see the breadth and depth of what we are bringing to you, it's really worthwhile. And it's education, it's information, and it's entertainment. So with that being said, I'm going to let you go. I need to do a quick wardrobe change, and then we'll be back with stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity with my guest, Jean Daly. Thank you again for being here. We'll see you again. Bye.